Hi, I'm Heather from Here Booktubes, and today is Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover. Basically, these are books that I love, that I think that the covers are trash, which might be too mean, or I would not pick it up to read based on the cover. I picked it up because I already knew the author, or because of the synopsis, or because somebody sold me on the book. But the cover, I would not have stopped and clicked on. This is obviously very personal taste. It's very subjective. But these are just ones that, I am not a fan of the cover, but I really, really enjoyed the book. Might at some point, it's unlikely because they usually don't trash books on my channel, And it's not because I don't want to be negative or any of those things. It's just I would love to talk about books that I enjoyed. A lot of times I get really mad thinking about the books that I wasted my time on, so I just don't talk about them as much. Sorry, look, I have a cough drop. I'm filming this when I'm still a little bit sick, and I don't know when it's gonna go up, but I need it, okay? Anyways, so at some point I might do books that I hate that I loved the cover for and they were such a disappointment, but that's not what this one is. This one is books I love with covers I don't. So the very first book is Wildest Dreams, which is Fantasyland #1 by Kristen and Ashley. The covers are just nothing. They give me nothing. The whole series, I'm not a fan of the covers. However, I am a big fan of the series. I definitely think if you're not already into alpha over the top heroes, then the series isn't for you. But it's a fantasy series with a parallel universe, so you have a doppelganger in their world and this world, and you can switch places with them. And so our main character, to start, she's from the modern day world, and she knows about the parallel universe, and she gets a witch, a very powerful witch, to send her. And part of that is because a huge part of her motivation for that is that her parents are dead, and she would really like to see their doppelgangers, which is maybe not the healthiest thing, but that's kind of her motivation. Problem is, she really doesn't know what she's getting into because she doesn't know what her doppelganger is like or does. So she switches places with this princess, and the princess is getting married that day, and so she gets married that day, and the groom hates her doppelganger, and her doppelganger is a lesbian or had been caught in a sapphic relationship, something like that, and basically told the hero that he discussed her and stuff, which valid if that's your reason, but the hero doesn't want to be married to her. He doesn't want to be married to somebody that wants nothing to do with him. And also her personality and mannerisms are kind of toxic. So then he gets married to his bride, who he hates, and she acts nothing like the princess that he's already met, and he's confused. But basically he just leaves her alone in the cabin for months and months, and then ends up falling for her. And he also figures out magically, he has somebody tell him about how it's her doppelganger, and she doesn't know that he knows. And so anytime he catches her in a phrase or something that she should know but doesn't, she has explanations for it, and he knows that she's full of it. He knows the truth, and it's just funny to watch her trying to explain away all the things. Again, the alphas in this world are going to make decisions for their wife because of society norms that would not be okay to us currently, and grateful for that. Grateful for the people who have fought so that our society is not like that. But I think it's kind of meant to be indicative of the society that they live in. And so they're going to do things that you don't like, some more than others. This first one is going to have to do with birth control. But yeah, the covers do nothing. Next one is By a Thread by Lucy Score. This one is a hate to love boss. It's kind of like a Devil Wears Prada retelling. His mother is the head of this very powerful fashion magazine, and he works for her, and then he is so rude to this waitress and ends up getting her fired, and his mom hires her basically to stand up to him and to not be a yes man. She's my son needs this. He needs somebody who's not terrified of him, and he can't fire you. Only I can fire you, and I'm not gonna fire you just for standing up to him. So she hires this waitress to be his personal assistant or something. And this main character, she is definitely that toxic independence where she won't accept a sandwich. She won't accept help from people when she needs help. She can't do it all by herself. but she won't accept help. I will say that there's a content warning for dementia, Alzheimer's, that type of thing, with her parent, with her dad, and that is something that I have personal experience with, and I would not have read the book had I known that. However, I did feel like it was a very powerful part of the book, incredibly respectful, wasn't overwhelming to the overall love story and storyline. In fact, this book does a lot of things that I normally just would not pick it up, and I absolutely loved the book. I absolutely loved it. But the cover is just not my style. Like, it's just like hangers. And I don't know, like, I would not pick up a book based on that. But This Devil Wears Prada, Enemies to Lovers, he has his own issues and he works through that. You're not going to hate him the whole book, but at the beginning you're just like, wow, you are so entitled, my dude. But yeah, loved it. Not a fan of the cover. Next, I have Baby in the Late Night Howlers by Kathryn Moon. First of all, I despise that the main character is named Baby. Kathryn Moon often has her main characters have very odd names. And she still makes it work, but I'm just like, but why? Anywho, this is a reverse harem omegaverse paranormal motorcycle club book, and it's great. But like the cover, first of all, I mentioned this before, I have an issue with every other heroine having red hair. That is not how the world works. Most of them, the large majority of heroines, right, should have brown hair and brown eyes. Like, I don't understand why we feel like that's not good enough. It is good enough. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. There's literally nothing wrong with that. I don't know why we always have to have some exotic combination. An exotic combination is red hair and green eyes. Listen, that's his own issue. I just personally take offense to it. But, so I would not pick this up based on the cover. However, I heard that it was a very sweet omegaverse and it was a reverse harem, and I was like, sign me up. And I have read and loved a ton of Kathryn Moon books now. I've DNF'd a couple, but I've loved a bunch of the others. And this has really good consent in it, which is very unusual for omegaverse in general. I really loved it, but I wouldn't pick it up based on the cover. Then I have The Headmaster by Tiffany Reisz. This book, this cover is so misleading. It looks like a gothic, you know, it's like the new English teacher at the Mysterious Academy, and she has a romance with the headmaster. I thought it was gonna be like bullyish, enemies to lovers, like toxic, power imbalance, age gap, all these things. It was the sweetest freaking romance. It was the sweetest thing you have ever read. It did make me cry at the end, but it's so sweet. The cover just really doesn't indicate that it's romance at all. It definitely doesn't indicate that it's a super sweet romance with kind of a unique spin. I would say that the only content warning for this is maybe some homophobia, off page basically, and grief. But it's so incredibly sweet. It's so sweet and charming and clever, and I actually think I want to reread this fall because I loved it. I almost didn't read it because of the cover. I thought that it was going to be this toxic romance. I was like, I don't know if I can handle the stress. And it wasn't stressful at all. It was charming. There you go. Then I have Love and Other Nightmares by Jessica Gadziala. I hate this cover. I'm so sorry, Jessica, if you were watching this. It's the colors and the gloves and I don't like it. However, it is a zombie apocalypse second chance novella. Basically, they used to date. I forget why I should reread this. It's like less than 50 pages. It's so short. I forget why they broke up in the first place. But basically, they're the last two people on Earth in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. And I don't know if it's the last two people on Earth, but it's definitely like the last two people in their town, basically. She ends up rescuing him, I think. And it's their second chance of being thrown together in a literal zombie apocalypse. And it was so cute. It was such a cute second chance romance. The way that she made me believe in these two in like 50 pages and had all the zombie stuff going on, it was great. I thought it was fantastic. But when I tell you that I would never pick it up based on the cover, I picked it up because it's Jessica Gadziala. That's the truth. So I'm sorry, but also it's just not my taste. Next I have Soulless, which is Parasole Protectorate #1 by Gail Carriger. This is actually my last one. I have so many more. There's a lot of books that I enjoy that I'm not a fan of the cover. I have like very specific taste. Like, don't take offense to this. But it's a steampunk paranormal Victorian romance, and I loved it. she is a Soulless, which is its own unique paranormal thing. And she's kind of like the last one. And basically they neutralize other paranormals. So there are shifters and there are vampires. But Soulless, if they're touching you, they neutralize your powers. So they are dangerous. She falls in love with a shifter lord. So the paranormals are accepted in society, like there's still nobility and everything. That's just how the world works. But she's really not that accepted, again, because of the danger. Yeah, I wouldn't read it based on the cover. I wouldn't. I think the cover does indicate what type of romance you're getting, but I don't like it. But I love this. It's not very smutty. It is super sweet. I also like a little bit enemies to lovers, and I would love to reread this series also, genuinely. I loved that the vampire was gay, and it's not like the gay best friend. He's older and he's like so sophisticated and stuck up. But I liked that, yes, there's a trio with the main character and a vampire and a shifter, but it's not a love triangle, and I really enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, I really liked the love interest also. And there are some great scenes in here. Like, fantastic scenes. And like there's some evil people trying to take over the world, and they're like trying to stop them. And I also like the series is 4 or 5 books. Let me look. I think it's 5 books and I never read the 5th, which is a terrible thing. Yeah, there's 5 books. I kind of DNF'd the 5th one. Again, I read them like all in a row, and that was my problem. I should definitely pick it back up, like 100%. It was not a bad book or anything. I just got tired of reading the series. Again, wanted something a little more smutty, a little shorter. The whole series follows the same couple, so you get to see them basically. There's a hedgehog incident, meet cute, which has its own novella, which I haven't read. It's a prequel short. I should read that. That's when they meet, but basically they already have prejudice against each other, the main character and the shifter lord, because of this incident, and then you get to like see them be a little bit enemies to lovers at the beginning, and it goes from that to them married and a child who is also a unique paranormal, and it's very enjoyable. It's fun to watch her be pregnant. It's fun to watch all the things. Love the series. Hate the covers. And that's it. As many more as there are, I'm gonna cut the video off here. I would love to know a book that you love. Like 5 stars all the way. But the cover, you just question the choices made there. I'd love to know. I think that is fun. Again, no offense to anybody who picked the covers. I just would have picked something else. Which is fine. I absolutely loved all the books. So technically, they won. Don't judge a book by its cover, even though we all do. That's literally what they're there for. You know? Like, that's why there's a cover on the book. But, alright, this has been fun. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know if you have an instance of this. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it. Thanks. Bye.